This is the MAN NL232 CNG, and it is one of the final buses of its kind still operating with Adelaide Metro. Unfortunately, it may not be around for much longer. A driver recently told me on a bus that I went on that the remaining MAN buses, specifically the CNG ones, are expected to be retired in September. However, I need to make something clear. I have not seen an official announcement from Adelaide Metro themselves confirming this. This is simply what one driver told me. So the date could be wrong, plans could change, or the retirement may not happen exactly as described. But if that information is correct, these buses may only have a couple of months left in service. Welcome back to another video of me talking about Adelaide Metro's decisions. Well, mostly the bad ones. These MAN and NL232 CNG buses entered service around 2001 and 2002. That means they are now around 24 to 25 years old, making them some of the oldest buses still operating in regular Adelaide Metro service. Because of their age, it is not really surprising that retirement is being considered. Some parts may be difficult to find on the buses, like something on the engine. They also rely on compressed natural gas infrastructure, which may be harder to justify when only a very small number of CNG buses remain. From the operator's point of view, retiring them makes a lot of sense. But for bus enthusiasts like me, it is still very disappointing. Once these buses are gone, Adelaide will have no compressed natural gas buses left in service. That means we are not only losing an old bus model, we are also losing an entire fuel type from the Adelaide Metro fleet. Adelaide Metro is now moving towards hybrid and electric buses for its newer purchases. And from an environmental point of view, that does make sense. Hybrid and electric buses reduce fuel use, emissions, and noise around residential areas. For the average passenger, a newer bus may also be smoother, quieter, and more comfortable. But if you care about bus sounds, like I do, the situation is much less exciting. Adelaide's older diesel and CNG buses have some of the best sounds in the fleet. The MAN NL232s were a perfect example. They use an engine of nearly 12 litres, but they only produce around 230 horsepower. To put that into perspective, a Scania K360 produces around 360 horsepower from an engine of roughly 11 litres. So the MAN has a massive engine without producing a massive amount of power. That may not really sound impressive on paper, but it gives these buses a very distinctive noise. They sound like they are generally working every time they accelerate. They do not quietly guide away from a stop. They are loud. They have the classic MAN engine sound. They have the ZF gearbox whine, and they rattle a lot. And for someone who enjoys bus noise, that is exactly what makes them so good. A modern electric bus may accelerate faster. It may be smoother. It may even be cheaper to operate over time. But it will never sound like one of these MANs pulling away under full power. There is also something impressive about a bus still performing regular work after nearly 25 years. Age does not automatically make a bus bad. If the structure is still safe and the mechanical parts can still be maintained properly, an older bus can continue doing useful work just fine. I would personally love to see these buses kept for longer. However, I also do understand that keeping a tiny number of unusual CNG buses in service may not be that simple. Adelaide Metro and the operators have to consider maintenance costs, reliability, parts availability, refueling equipment, and how often these buses are actually available for service. Repairing one fault may cost less than buying a new bus, but maintaining an entire CNG support system for only a handful of buses could eventually become more expensive than just replacing them. So I understand why retirement may happen. The frustrating part is how quickly this could happen. If what the driver told me is accurate, these buses may be gone by September. This is not a retirement that might happen in 5 years from now. It could happen within the next few months of this video being posted. Again, that September date has not been officially confirmed by Adelaide Metro, well, at least not publicly from anything that I've seen. But even if the exact date is wrong, these buses are clearly reaching the end of their working lives. That means now is the time to enjoy them. Ride them if you get an opportunity. Record them if you want. Listen to them. Because once the final MAN NL232 CNG leaves service, Adelaide will lose one of the loudest and most recognisable sounds in its fleet. There will be no more regular CNG MAN buses. There will be no more enormous engine working incredibly hard to produce sound around 230 horsepower. There will be no more gearbox whine coming down the road before you can even see the bus, apart from our L series buses. The replacements will almost certainly be newer, smoother, cleaner, and more environmentally friendly. If not already the new fully electric buses that we are getting right now. For most passengers, they will probably be better buses, but they will not have the same character. This is one of the unfortunate parts of modernising a bus fleet. You gain newer technology, efficiency, and comfort, but sometimes you lose the vehicles that made the network interesting. I'm not saying that Adelaide should keep every old bus operating forever, even though it would be really good. Eventually, every vehicle, I guess, has to retire. But I really hope at least a couple MAN NL232 CNGs is preserved in operating condition, even if not by Adelaide Metro themselves. These buses represent an important period of Adelaide Metro's history. Once they are all scrapped or sold, that history and sounds cannot simply be recreated that easily. So, what do you think? Do you think these buses will actually be retired in September? Should Adelaide preserve one in operating condition? Or have they simply reached the end nearly after 25 years of service? Let me know in the comments and I will see you in the next video.